want to remind you, on behalf of Timothy, if you could just listen for a sec, please. Timothy, I'm speaking to you because this tape, this dinner, and this production is coming right over to Burma, and you're going to show it to your churches there. It's just to tell you and show you how much you're loved. We know that sometimes people in Burma used to describe the country as the forgotten people. You have not been forgotten. You are loved, you are important to us, and we just ask God's richest blessing upon each one of you. Looking forward to seeing you in January again. Hopefully it's January. And tell Miss Sam to get documents together and get over here. It's safe because it's no longer 50 below. With the wind temperature, it's a nice balmy 5-10 below. It's really warm now. Timothy, you'll be glad that we haven't been catching fish without you. I've been skunked all winter. I can't believe it. So you're going to have to come back and show us how to catch those fish again. To the rest of you, thank you so, so much. On behalf of Timothy, Abraham, and Timbe, and Visaram and their families, and Yola, and I can remember all those names, and they're just a wonderful people, and the work that they're doing is such a wonderful work, and you have just made it very possible for so many more good things to happen over in a land that many of you will never see. However, if any of you would like to come with me to Burma and teach English or Bible or medicine or computers or time management, because they're learning how to manage these things, they're going to have to manage barns and manage, there's so many things for them to learn. If anyone likes to teach accounting, these are all things that they want to learn how to do, and we have to teach them as we present them with, as we build these barns. You're all more than welcome. It's pretty exciting. I had anticipated having Timothy on a screen talking to us from Burma through Skype, but they're caught up in their Barefoot Doctor program over there right now, and it's just too difficult for him to cross the border in time, and because the best is when it comes to Thailand to use the computer system, to use the internet because it's more reliable. So we weren't able to do that, and but he asked me to tell you, Hamara, 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 that means hello. And good evening, and it says goodbye, and it means all these things. But when he's saying Hamara, he's using Hamara not as the distant Hamara. He's doing it as the friendship Hamara. He says, say thank you so much for helping their people. He says before they were involved with us, they did very little. Because they didn't have the money to get in. They didn't have motorcycles. Well, they had motorcycles, but they weren't reliable. And they didn't have the gas to put in the motorcycles often, so they couldn't use them all the time. We've been able to fly them. We've been able to bring 4 missionary nationals over from Burma. They lived with us for a year, 2 at a time, learned English, and went back to be translators in 1 year. So they went from going, yes, yes, no, no, and yes, yes did not mean yes, yes, and then yes, yes, whatever that meant. And no, no didn't mean, and there was no kind of understanding, really. And yet they learned English in a year and could translate for the Barefoot Doctor program. And that's where we take missionary nationals, people just as yourselves. If you're Christians and you're living in Canada, that makes you a missionary national. And they take people just like you and put them away put them into a resort, not a resort either. It's a center for learning that was built, and taught them how to sew, do stitches, set arms, evacuate hurt people, help distinguish 10 diseases that kill 90% of the people, to be able to administer shots and diagnose all sorts of things and help them. And we've also had Bible colleges going on there, and English courses and addictions ministries, and It's been really exciting. We went over there last May to do this, and we were there for 6 weeks, some of us, and some were for 2 or 3 weeks. And it was so exciting. It was so hot. It was 45 degrees some days. That's funny to you, 45 degrees. You go, whoa, I heard a little mumble. But when I wrote a letter to Sarah, who was supposed to be here by now, but we're having troubles getting him out of Burma, he'll be here, perhaps in the first 2 weeks of April. When I told him it was 40 degrees plus below, and then with the wind factor it was up to 52 below, he says, oh, God is so good to me, because I could not make it. He could not imagine walking around in 50 below weather. I mean, they don't even have refrigerators, most of them, so it's an incredible thing. What we're doing tonight, and what we use Burma Benefit for, is to raise funds so that we can buy farms and acres. So far, we've purchased about 20 acres of land over there, and we're now in the position of starting to build barns. Water project for a barn costs about $6,000, and then we have the barn itself, which costs about $8,000 to $9,000, and then we have to build a house for someone to manage them. And we're hoping to build 4 barns on Timothy's property that we've already purchased. And what we'd like to do is, if we build 4 barns, that will be eventually be able to have 100 pigs raised 3 times a year per barn. And that will increase, when we have 4 barns, that will be close to $90,000 income for them. That is like an incredible thing. That would give all the barefoot doctors over there a salary so they can take medicine into the cities, they can, or into the villages. And we have a great opportunity before us. When we did the Bobby Alexander dinner, we raised funds and part of the money went to our hospital here, and part of it went to the medical over there, and that saved hundreds of lives because we were able to buy malaria pills. And also we use that as a leverage, because when we were doing that, someone else sent $1,000 to us for malaria pills. So like that, and that's just an incredible amount. So what you're doing here, I'd just like to tell you what you're doing by purchasing a ticket, by coming to this dinner. You're doing no small thing. Those are the words of Daniel, the founder of FLC Missions, Frontier Leaders for Christ, who started the Barefoot Doctor program, who started all this stuff, and it allowed us to have the privilege of joining him. He says, and you gotta imagine Daniel. Can you imagine him with a Clint Eastwood squint? And think of his eyes already a little squinted. All he's missing is the straw, or the cigarette, or the cigar. And he looked at me, he says, you tell everywhere you go that this is no small thing that you do. No small thing. Hundreds, thousands are going to be benefiting from everything that you're doing. Thousands. And we already know that's true because already hundreds have received the benefit of your kindnesses. And we want to thank you for that. I thank God for you. I thank God for the program. I thank God for all the things that people have started by being here, by joining us. Later on, I'm going to walk over that table and I'll show you some things and tell you how they made them or what they're from or what they're for. And Dwight's got a proposition to me. He's bending my arm. I can't. You got to stop it, Dwight. So anyway, so I'm working through something with him as we're talking. Dinner is buffet style, and we're going to allow the cast to go first because they're going to eat and then go and change and be part of it. And then, you know, I just kind of think that we can just kind of, we're all sensible people, aren't we? I don't think there'll be a stampede. Yes?
Salad will be first served onto the table.
Okay, did you hear that? Salads will be brought to you. And as you finish your salad, and you would like to mosey your way up and, to that table up there, you can help out. But first of all, I have to tell you a joke. And I always like to talk.
Look at this.
It's my favorite joke. And in my church has heard it far too many times. But there was a farmer that had a 3-legged pig. And everybody went and would go to see this three-legged pig. And one guy finally said to him, well, why has your pig got 3 legs? He says, well, when our young lad was out in the back 40 and he fell over the drop-off, the pigs came and rounded at the kitchen door while we're having breakfast, and rounded us up, and we followed him, and were able to rescue our son. Yeah, well, why has he got 3-legged? Why has he got 3 legs? He said, well, one night the barn was on fire, and the pig came flying at the door and pounded against the door, and kept throwing himself against the door. That we all got up, and I was able to save all the livestock. Lost the barn, but saved the livestock. I said, well, why has he got 3 legs? The guy says, well, you wouldn't want us to eat a good pig like that all at once now, would you? I'd like to explain a couple of things on the table. Does anyone know what this is for? It's not a half
Basket.
Does anybody know? It's a berry basket. It's not a tea basket. It's a berry basket. They wear it and they just go through and collect all sorts of berries. Now that would have done you just well, wouldn't it? With all those blueberries would have been in here. It would be blue inside, wouldn't it? Now this is pretty tricky. Can you tell me what this is?
Purse.
It's a purse. There you go. These cups here are all made of bamboo, and only in Burma does the bamboo grow in a certain way. Here in northern Burma specifically, and so they make these cups out of them, and they sell them throughout the world. All these cups are being given as gifts of honor to Chris and I from different people. They usually come in groups of 2 or 4. Usually they give them in groups of 4. So everywhere you go, they honor you with 4 cups. These are used for green tea, and after a while, they get really dark inside, and the tea it's a whole different taste. After a while, it's an earthy taste. It has a real bouquet about it, and you can smell it as it comes up to you. You can hold it as.
So at this time of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to draw your attention to all the beautiful pink pig artwork on the wall. And it was made by a very special lady. And I'd like to introduce Jean to you right now. Jean, thank you. Anyway, Jean has dedicated many hours to this project since mid-January, when she began making these pink pigs. The pink pig theme was conceived, and she inspired the tissue concept to continue on the billboard in the entrance foyer. Jean, Janet Shepherd, and the Pigs for Burma Committee would like to thank you for your generous donation of artwork and offer this token of our appreciation for all your hard work. Thank you so much, sweetie. So if anyone would like to purchase some of Jean's original pig art, you can make a small donation to the piggy bank that's up on the table at the front of the left of the stage there. And the play is going to begin very shortly while the actors are changing. We're finishing the dessert and then changing. I'd like to introduce David Johnson. If you'll stand up for a minute, David. Bob already introduced him. He's our pig farmer and clerk. And to buy a pig in Burma costs $50, as Bob said, but we would be grateful for any donation. So if you wish to make a donation, just fill out a form on your table, give it to David, and if you wish, we can provide you a cash receipt for a $20 donation or more. Thank you, David.